Hi YouTube, Marko with Marko Custom Models. Coming with another body modification that I've started, and I start a lot of things. But anyway, this 67 Chevelle is a model that I've been sort of wanting to build. My dad has a 67 Chevelle that he bought brand new in 1967. If you see my other channel, it's on there, on Roy Marko's Garage. I pulled it out of storage there, and I haven't done a full walk around on that car yet. But anyway, hit a 50th wedding anniversary, and I've been sort of toying with how to turn one of these cars into a convertible for a little while. I did one a long time ago where I cut the roof off and sort of filled in the back pillars, and I never finished the interior properly and stuff like that. So this is now, I don't know, I was 12 then, so a few years later, here I am trying to make a second attempt. Basically, the roof on this car comes with a sort of an A-pillar that is really thick and not really correct to how the car looks. So when I originally cut this when I was younger, I just sort of shaped the top of the windshield frame, and it never looked right to me. And anyway, but I had fun. I did it. It's something to do. So what I did was I just lopped the roof off of this car. But anyway, let's rewind to how I got the idea. Was I happened to be selling this model kit at a swap meet, and it's a 66 Olds 442 convertible, and I didn't think anything of it, and it just sat there, and I'm looking at it while I was selling kits, and I just kind of looked at the box a couple of times, and I sat there and thought of it and go, that's the same kind of car that the same GM body as the 67 Chevelle, just different outer skin, right? So it got me thinking, and I came home from that swap meet, and I had cut the sections out of the body. So I knew I wanted to use the windshield pillars and the cowl, because the cowl on the AMT version was bland. It didn't have a lot of the body lines in it. But I knew I wanted to use the AMT instead of the Revell 67 Chevelle. I just felt it was where I wanted to go. So anyway, I kind of hacked this body up to the point where it's not really usable anymore, but I wanted to show you what I did, because I didn't quite know how I was going to splice it in until I start, you start looking at it. So if I were to do it again, I wouldn't cut it up as much. And then I hacked the roof off the Chevelle. You can see I made a cut right across here, and then I ended up just gingerly cutting out the back section and ended up cutting out the cowl. I glued this back together because maybe later on I can use this roof in another model, but I also wanted to show you with that plastic magic. This piece here, you can just flex the crap out of that roof there, and it's not breaking. So it's like one piece of plastic when you're done. So anyway, we don't need to look at that anymore. So on the car, I actually started by grafting in the windshield frame. And what I did was I lined up the body line here with the door line, and the hood lines up with the fender lines, and that ended up giving me that detail. And basically just a little bit of body work will have to be done there, not much. I ended up cutting into the side of the top of the door edge, being able to lay that piece in, which allowed me a nice thick area to glue to, which gave me a lot of strength, instead of just trying to surface mount it. So now I have a good windshield frame in there, and that sort of lined me up by taking the soft top roof that comes in the kit, setting it up, and then finding out where I had to put in the back. And it's pretty much correct to the actual car. The Oldsmobile does have a longer sail pan than the Chevelle, and there's a little bit of a difference in shape, so that'll be filled in with some filler and blended out, but will turn out pretty good. So that's you can see the sail pan in there. It has the detail of the sail pan lines, and there's just a little bit of body work to do in here, not a lot. And I decided not to follow the opening of the trunk, because the trunk curve would be hard to cut back into the plastic. So I made a straight cut, and then was able to use a sanding board that I got here, that I made out of plywood, and then I glued down some like 250 grit sandpaper, and that allows me to sand things nice and straight and then get it into place. And when I got the length right, I now have the convertible top up version there with the top on, and then with the top down I'll have the boot that goes in there. So with that, I now have the interior panels to make. So here's the rear panels from the Oldsmobile, and they're very much like the Chevelle panels. So I'm going to have to mate these together. The reason I'm using these is the car that I'm building has manual windows instead of power windows, and these are off of Revell, so I'll be able to kind of make that as a side panel. Just to show you what I mean, here's the AMT version panel, and that one has the power window switches, but it does have these details, which I may need to cut the power window switches off, put on a window crank, and in any case that would also be an option, so those panels would end up making the side panel. But the detail on the 66 Oldsmobile has the same detail on the door that I will need, and then I just have to narrow the back seat and put all that together. I just thought I'd show you where I'm at with that. And I also got to put a small block Chevy. This is a 283 car. The only thing I may not be able to do correctly, the center console would be a lot of mucking around. It's an automatic. My dad's car is an automatic, and this has a 3-speed or 4-speed on the floor, I mean. And I would have to find an automatic 2-speed power glide transmission, which I'll have to maybe get in resin or something like that. So that's just what I have to do for that. So anyway, I just thought I'd show you where I'm at with this. Sometimes I get these ideas and I get into it and get started on it, so I just wanted to show you where I was with that and what it's like to modify it. The reason I picked these wheels too, my dad had these on back in like the 70s all the way up until like in the mid-90s, and then it ended up going back to another set of wheels and stuff like that. So anyway, there it is. And yeah, here's a picture of my dad's car when he got married, back in 67, or back in 69. Sorry, it's a 67 Chevelle, but he got married in 69, and that was the car on the wedding day. Here's the car today, sort of thing. So anyway, that's the 67 Chevelle convertible, and I just thought I'd show you where I'm at with that, and hopefully you get some ideas. And if you like these videos, please subscribe and have a great day.